Welcome back to another episode. Let's get right into it. So today we're going to talk about what can we do to make it more likely, I wouldn't say guarantee, to achieve your New Year's resolution. Okay, so I got three things that if you follow these, it will definitely improve your chances. And I wouldn't even say like a little bit. I think it really will get you closer to achieving whatever your resolution is. And doesn't really have to also just work for your New Year resolution. It can be for any goals that you have along the year as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Number one is to only talk about it after you have achieved it. So there's this quote from Ryan Holiday. He says that talking about the thing and actually doing the thing vie for the same resources, and that we should then allocate those resources properly. Right? So the amount of energy and time it takes to talk about doing something is the time and energy you can use to actually do it, and only one of them makes progress in what you want to accomplish, right? Which is doing it, right? And in like recent psychology studies and all, like, studies about the brain and how it functions, all the signals and everything, it shows that the minds cannot work in hypotheticals. So whatever we imagine, our brain has to assume it is reality. And what happens then is, if let's say our resolution is we want to exercise more, right? We're going to tell people, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to run on this day, I'm going to exercise and go to the gym 2 times a week, etc. Right? Even if we say it as if we know we're going to do it, our mind kind of makes it a reality already. So we actually feel good just by saying that we're going to go to the gym without having even gone to the gym, or without even having to go for a run. Or if let's say your resolution is to, I don't know, make this project happen, right? And you're going to do this. So your mind already will assume that it is a reality, and it's going to give you that response as if you have already done it. And that's why you feel that bit of joy, or like a bit of excitement when you talk about it. And it's misplaced, because the excitement should be used to go and do it instead of just talking about it, right? The more you talk about something, the more excited you get without even having actually done it. So yeah, it is all to do with like the risk and rewards center of our brains, right? So all to do with like dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, and all that. And usually all this just ends up becoming a very big difference between the script we say and then the reality, right? So how the brain actually works, right? And also it is a little bit to do with laziness. Okay, so laziness is normal, like it's a normal thing for all humans to have laziness. Okay, but how does laziness work, and why is there even laziness in the first place? And so what I have come to learn, okay, it's not like it's a very, very scientific thing, but what I've heard like some experts say is that, laziness has to do with the weightage between the thing you are planning to do and how much you feel you're going to get from it. So it's kind of like your brain just makes the equation, right? So if what you want to do is, let's say, hard, right? Then the amount of outcome that you get, or whatever you get from it, should be equivalent or more than what difficulty it seems to have, right? And laziness then comes in when whatever you get is not reasonable to the amount of effort you have to put in. So when the mind realizes that that is the equation, right? You get less than what you put in, it's not going to want to do it. Logically, it's like it's not worth it. So it sends you all these signals within your body. It downregulates your adrenaline, downregulates your motivation and all of that to make you feel that laziness feeling. So it has nothing to do with your actual like physical energy and whatever it is. It's just to do with the signals that your body sends you. And again, if we link this back to the whole talking about it and doing it, etc., talking versus doing. So our brain has to imagine that we have done it already in order for it to know what we're going to get from it. So the more we spend our time talking about something, the more we would then, our brains will just keep playing the script that we have already done it. And so we will get that feedback loop that we have already done it without even having done it. So internally in our minds, it's as if we have already done it, but like reality wise, it's we did not do it. And so talking about things before you actually complete it is just not using your resources, which is your time and your energy and your motivation and all of that, in the wrong places. So you should be using all of that to actually do it rather than talk about it. And I know the excitement to talk about it is very large, and you want to share your plans, you want to maybe get people excited for you as well. But I think that then comes to another perspective of, why do you need people to know what you are doing? And commonly the answer, if we really dig deep, is because we want people to in other words, it's just we want to boost our ego. We want people to think we are like, whoa, oh, this person is has a lot of plans, and this guy's great and everything like that. So it's nothing to do with it actually helping us achieve the goal more, but it's more of, we want the recognition of the goals we are trying to, or the validation that the goals we are trying to achieve is actually from other people. So what we actually secretly aim to accomplish by talking about our goals does not actually help our goals, right? And then there's a little bit of difference between talking about it with people who are involved in that journey with you, right? So let's say it's your team members, then of course you share your goals with everybody and discuss how we can all work together to go for it, right? There are people who are integral in your journey of attaining your goal, right? But if they are not integral or a crucial part of your journey to achieve the goal, then you don't have to tell them. If they ask, sure, right? But do it in a way where you still try to keep what you want, like, not say a secret, but you just try to not overplay your hand, or you don't use your excitement or resources in a way that does not benefit you. And I think this whole talking versus doing also is seen in therapy. And you will realize that a lot of therapy is just talking. Correct? You talk about your feelings, you talk about this, you talk about that. And the reason why therapy works to a certain degree is because talking actually helps you release all the internal energy that you have about something. So whether it is talking about your problems, right? And that's why they always say talk about your problems. It always helps because it releases that energy. It will come back, yes, but at that moment, once you release it, you will not be as driven by that energy or emotion as you would have if you kept it in, right? Same goes for like I think they do this also for those people with violent urges, right? So talking about those people talking about their violent urges helps them to not act on it because they have released that energy verbally, and their mind kind of assumes that it has acted it out when they actually have not acted it out, right? And it's also similar to why we love to watch movies and why we like to watch TV shows is because we like to, vicariously live the things that we want to live but we cannot live, right? So some people like horror movies because they like the excitement of, being in that scenario, but then actually real life is not like that. But just by watching a horror movie, they feel like they're in it and they get the excitement from it, right? And same as gaming, right? Same as whatever it is. So it's all to do with understanding how does external things affect your energy and how you can regulate your energy to make it beneficial for whatever you want to achieve, right? And similar to music, right? So when we are sad, we listen to sad music. I mean, we are still sad, but we're less sad because we have released that energy, right? So I need to sum this up. A good practice you can employ for this first point is keep what you want to grow and release what you don't want. So talk about your problems, right? Talk about things that bother you, things that you want to let go of. But whatever you want to grow, whatever you want to keep, your goals, your habits, and everything, keep them close to you, right? Let the actions speak for that, and then let the words that you say release all the things that you don't want. Yeah. So whatever goals you have, try not to talk about them so much. That's why I don't subscribe to the whole post your New Year's resolution and then, tell everybody what your New Year's resolution is. Post it at the end of the year, like with the completion. Like this was my New Year's resolution, and I've accomplished it. That is more amazing than any average Joe just like, this is my New Year's resolution, and then it just disappears, right? This is my New Year's resolution and I have done it. Yep. And second point, okay, very quick one. It's a little bit different from the first one. Okay, I think it's similar to the whole talk to the people who are part of the process of you achieving your resolution, those that can help you get there, those that you need to work with, those that are maybe closer to you, right? Your close friends. So only talk about it when you've almost completed it, and also with, right, those people who are closer to you. So this is a little bit more of, okay, let's not be so strict about only talk about it after you've done it, because sometimes we want to talk about it. So let's be a little bit more flexible. So either we only talk about it only when we have almost completed it, or with the people who are part of your small little group that you trust and actually does help you get to your goal, right? And actually talking about it with those certain people might actually be helpful for some of us, because it gives us a little bit of accountability that we have to then achieve it, right? Because it's okay for us to not achieve whatever we say to people who don't matter, because if I don't achieve it, you don't matter to me, so I won't be like embarrassed, or I won't be paiseh to not have achieved it. But if it's someone who expects it from you, right? Like, let's say it's your close friend, and not say like the unhealthy expectations, but more of the like they believe in you kind of thing, right? So it will feel a little bit more like, oh my god, okay, I told this to this person, I really have to then do it, right? So it makes you a little bit more accountable to the things you say, rather than again like a passerby, or like someone you're just only going to meet for like a few days or a few weeks. You're not going to care whether they see you accomplish your goals or not, right? So pretend you've told no one about your resolution, and it is really a tough one, like training and going to run a marathon, right? Or go from an F grade to a B or an A grade. So when you finally review your resolution and progress you've already made, people will be amazed, and that can turn into extra fuel for you to cross the finish line, right? So let's say your goal is to go from a novice runner at the start of the year to joining a marathon like at the end of the year, right? So you spend like maybe the first half of the year just doing your own quiet work, right? And then definitely halfway through the year, you're gonna feel a little bit more burnt out. You're gonna be like, oh my god, so tired, right? So you will actually need a little bit more of that fuel to push you forward, right? And that's where slowly releasing a bit of information about your goals, right, is gonna make people like, oh my god, wow, this is amazing, let's go, right? And that encouragement then carries you forward when you need it the most. So again, it's a little bit about regulation of your emotions, right? So instead of just spamming that fuel, that like extra fuel at the start where you don't need it, because you're already so amped up from the new year, like, oh my god, new me, new year, new me, let's go. You already have that fuel, right? So you don't need the like, whoa, okay, your New Year's resolution is this, your New Year's resolution, let's go. You don't need that even more extra fuel. You can save that to like when that first new year, new me motivation runs out, right? Then you'll be like, okay, maybe in June, you're like, okay, actually my New Year's resolution this year is to run a full marathon, and I've been training for the last 6 months, and this is my progress so far. And people are like, whoa, okay, keep going, right? Because you're going to be so tired by then that extra fuel is actually useful by then, because you've run out of your own motivation. Other people can push you on, right? Your close friends, those that maybe you realize are on the same journey as you. Same for like grades, right? You're studying real hard. Your motivation is to go from 0 to 100. Okay, not even 0 lah. Okay, like from a just pass to a A grade, right? You are gonna be motivated at the start of the year because you have rested over the break, and you'll be like, okay, let's lock in, let's go, right? So you already have motivation, so you're gonna do it, whether or not people cheer for you or not. You're just gonna study, right? But then again, after like maybe your first exam in March or something, you are gonna feel like a little bit demoralized, maybe because it's not progressing as well as you wanted. You see only a little bit of progress, right? So only when you really know that, okay, my motivation is really dying out. Okay, where else can I get a bit of that push for me to reignite my motivation, right? And that's where you like mention to people and tell people, oh, this is my progress, and my resolution actually is to do this, and this is how far I've gotten. And yeah, people will be like, oh my god, yeah, let's go, I see your improvement, right? And then you will then be reignited, and you will have a little bit of that ignition fuel to push one more time, right? So again, it also depends on how you deal with pressure, right? So again, all this has to do with you then living up to the resolution you have told everyone. So for some of us, that might seem very pressurizing, because now all eyes are on you, right? If you fail, you are going to tarnish your reputation, and you're gonna make yourself, look like this and blah 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 blah. So if you know you're not good on dealing with pressure, then maybe this is not the method for you. Maybe just keep it quiet until you have done what you have set out to do. Yeah. So it depends on how you handle pressure, depends on your environment. Is it a supportive or a destructive one? Because sometimes we have destructive friends that we're not aware of, right? So instead of pushing you forward, they actually make you feel worse. and somehow they're still your friends, right? It also depends on the true purpose of your goal. So sometimes only revealing your resolution or goal after its completion is the better choice. Yeah. And next one, number 3 is just accountability, right? So the exception for the above about the keeping your resolutions, until the end or close to the end, is when you know that you need someone to keep you on track, right? So the catch is, if you want to tell someone your resolution and you want them to keep you in check as you chase your resolution, is they also need to know the above principle of keeping it low key, keeping it just between both of you, or if it's a group, between a group of y'all, right? And be aligned with you as well, right? So best case is if both of you are keeping each other accountable, right? And observing the same principle of moving in silence, right? Because again, if let's say you ask your friend, this is my resolution, I'm telling you because I want you to keep me accountable, and then your friend just starts to tell everyone, hey, his resolution is this, her resolution is this, and blah 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 blah, right? And then it just defeats the purpose of trying to keep your circle of people who know what you're doing small, because that person just starts to tell everybody, right? And then you feel like you have to live up to that pressure or that noise of distractions of people expecting things from you, is gonna affect your concentration or the quality of things you're gonna do, right? Because instead of worrying about doing the thing, you're now worrying about what people think of you doing the thing is gonna be, right? So if both of you know the importance of keeping things in a way private or in a way close to you, then perfect, right? You feel like you have someone to share things with, but both of you then know that it is not something you want to share publicly yet. You want to keep it close to both of you, and then just keep each other in check, and hopefully at the end of the year, or maybe not at the end of the year, like maybe halfway through the year, you've both accomplished a goal and you can both tell everyone that, oh, this was my resolution and I've completed it, right? And move on to the next one. Yep. So bonus one, give you a bonus one, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. So we have heard this term side quests, good and bad. I think side quests are good because it kind of challenges you to adapt and gives you a little bit of excitement in the things that might become boring after a while, right? If you're chasing one thing, it's gonna get boring after a while. So sometimes side quests are good to rejuvenate your excitement and all of that, but too much side quests become a distraction, right? So whether it is the in thing or the trend, try your best to keep the main thing the main thing. So whatever your resolutions are, you have to be anchored in those. And if you feel like you cannot be anchored in those, then you have to reassess how are you making your resolutions, because maybe those resolutions are not specific enough, or it's not actually what you want to achieve. Maybe it's just an impulse resolution and not something that you want to do or really want to accomplish or has a big impact in your progress. Yeah. So if you are unable to keep the main thing, obviously your resolution is not going to work, because you're going to get distracted. You're going to veer to different areas and etc. So keep the main thing the main thing. And I actually, from experience, I'm ending already. From experience, I actually find this very, very, very useful, because I post a lot of my running stuff last year, but I think I learned or realized that whole knowing when to get external motivation when your internal motivation is becoming low or is getting low, right? So let's say this is the amount of motivation you need, right? Internal, external, add up together. This is the amount of motivation you need to keep going, right? So sometimes your internal motivation can be 80%, and then you need 20% external motivation. Sometimes you need sometimes you have 100% internal motivation. You're just so internally motivated that you don't need people to tell you, 加油, let's go, that you can just do it yourself, right? But then sometimes again, your internal motivation can be like 20%, and you need that external motivation to give you the extra push, right? So knowing how to assess the amount of motivation internally you have, and then when can you use the external motivation to get you past that threshold that of motivation you need to go and do it, right? Because and you don't want to rely on external motivation all the time, because you just become accustomed to it. It's like dosage, right? Soon enough you just get like the dosage needs to increase and increase and increase and increase. So if you're always relying on external motivation, you will need more and more and more and more, and eventually no amount of external motivation will be enough for you to feel motivated to go and do it. So it's always a balance of knowing how much internal motivation you have, and then just getting the right amount of external motivation for you to go and do it. And it's the same for internal motivation. You will never have 100% internal motivation all the way. You will definitely need some external motivation. And where you get your external motivation from is very important. Because some people can motivate you externally, but not sincerely. And even though it's a very subtle way that they do it, you will be able to sense it, and it will not give you the same amount of push as if it were coming from someone who was sincere in their want to see you achieve it. So yes, sum up is try your best to only talk about your resolution after you've completed it, or nearing to the end, like the last stretch, the last 10%, where you really need the extra push to get you across the line, or with someone who you trust that also knows to keep all these close to you and them, so they're not going to blab about it and tell everybody that this is this person's motivation resolution, right? So someone to keep you accountable, keep the main thing. And if you have already started to tell everybody, oh, this is my New Year's resolution and whatever, it's totally fine, right? Just start to downplay it, start to keep it close to you now, right? Because eventually people will forget, right? Do you remember your friend's New Year's resolution last year? No, you did not. So you only remember it if they have kept telling you over the whole year that was their resolution. So if you have already, it's fine, right? Just start to keep it close to you. Keep your cards close, right? And then just play it when it's done. And then people will be like, shit, what am I doing? And that's how you hopefully get closer to achieving your New Year's resolution, or actually achieve your New Year's resolution. So hopefully this keeps you thinking, right? Think about the logic behind all this, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It works for me, it doesn't have to work for you. But from the podcasts and people that I hear talk, this is the common thing that I always hear is talk about it only after you've done it. Don't talk about it before you've not done it. Yeah. So that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.